Thanks for joining us. Governor Bruce Rauner is the state's first Republican governor in more than a decade. For the man who's best known for his business dealings, entering the world of politics is a new venture. With the governor's first 100 days in the books, in tonight's special report, News Channel 20 State House reporter Jordan Abadea sat down with him to talk about the agenda that has everyone in the state talking.
Governor Bruce Rauner has had people talking here at the Capitol since day one, and over 100 days in, he's really focused on his turnaround agenda, a plan that he says will turn around Illinois' fiscal mess.
Governor Bruce Rauner promised to shake up Springfield. During the first 100 days of the Rauner administration, a bold plan's been introduced as the turnaround agenda, inspiring some and infuriating others. The governor says it's time for a change in Illinois.
Right now here in Springfield, we have special interest groups that are controlling a lot of the political process. They have their own agenda that costs us to spend more and have bigger bureaucracy. We need the power to go away from them and to go to our local voters and empower our voters to control what gets collectively bargained in their governments, what gets spent on local taxes, when property taxes can go up. Those issues need to be locally controlled, not controlled by here from our state government. We also need to become more pro-job creation, become more competitive. That means changing workers' comp. That means changing our unemployment insurance and our tort system, our litigation system. If we do those two things, government reform, empowering local voters to change the culture in state government, and becoming more pro-job creation, we will thrive as a state. And that's what our turnaround agenda is about.
Well, in terms of your agenda, some people have said that it makes Illinois competitive at the cost of workers. What is your response to that?
Yes, I don't agree with that at all. The reality is the way to raise wages, the way to raise families' incomes, which is what we all want, that's the real issue, is to have a booming economy where companies are competing to hire people. That's what pushes wages up, along with a great vocational and education system. We need to have technical training, vocational training back in our public high schools, and a great school system so our people are trained for the jobs that are available. Their highly trained, productive skills are what allows them to get higher pay. We do those two things, booming economy, better education and training, we're going to get rising wages. And whether they're union jobs or not union jobs, it doesn't really matter. It's about rising wages and great career opportunities with great training. That's the key.
What role do unions play after the turnaround agenda is passed?
Well, unions have done very many good things for Illinois and America. Workplace health, workplace safety, equal pay for equal work, non-discrimination. Unions have done many great things. The good news is a lot of that agenda is now the law. Now it's really mostly about compensation and pay. And that's good. Everybody wants to have more pay, and certainly unions can help advocate for rising wages. But the key, though, is that we're competitive, because if we're too tough on some of those issues and employers leave and jobs leave, there's no jobs to unionize and there's no wages to raise. So we've got to be competitive. And all the states around us have gone right to work. I don't support Illinois as a state going right to work. And right to work just means in a company that has a union, not everybody has to join the union and pay the dues. That's all that means. It can still have a union. Doesn't make unions illegal, just makes it not forced for everybody. I believe if some communities, especially our border communities, are able to have some of that employment flexibility to compete with Indiana and Wisconsin and Michigan and Tennessee and Texas, we'll thrive and we'll grow while still staying a union state, as many people would like.
In addition to the employee empowerment zones, the turnaround agenda also focuses on other business-minded reforms, like workers' compensation and tort reform. The governor acknowledges that it's an ambitious agenda.
You've compared the lawmaking process to watching sausage being made. This is your first time really into the legislative process. How easy do you think it's going to be to get all of this agenda passed with a democratically controlled General Assembly?
Well, I certainly won't say it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But that said, there are many legislators, both Democrats and Republicans, who want to see reform and realize we need to go in a different direction and are ready to change the culture so special interests don't control it so much, but the local voters and the people. Both parties, Democrats and Republicans, believe in local control, and we all believe in democracy with the voters deciding the issues. So I'm pretty optimistic we can get some big changes made. And for those who say, gosh, Bruce, your agenda is so big and bold, can you really get it done? Well, I say two things. Number one, to turn around our culture here and shake up our state government, we have to go big and bold, because we can't just nibble around the edges, because we need a big turnaround in direction. But the other thing is, you know, they say, boy, that's a lot to get done. The reality is the legislature passes about 600 bills per year. If we can find a way to do 6 or 10 and to do this. I'm very confident.
That optimism carrying the governor past his 100th day in office, with the hope that his plan will live up to its name.
I feel very honored to be able to work for all the people of Illinois. You know what, I consider us one state. I don't believe in this Chicago and downstate. We're one state. I work for the people on the south side of Chicago, just like I work for the people in Marion and Effingham and in Quincy. I'm very honored by that. I'm surprised how enjoyable it's been. I feel very energized, because this is an opportunity to improve the quality of life for 12.5 million people, and to make Illinois a place where our children and our grandchildren can have a great future, and I feel very privileged that I can help drive that result. The other thing I've been very surprised by is how much I really like members of the General Assembly. They're good folks. They're good people. And I love the Democrats as much as the Republicans. They're all good folks. We disagree on some things, but we agree on far more than we disagree on. And I think we're going to do some big reforms together.
The last day of session is scheduled for May 31st, and that leaves lawmakers only a handful of weeks to pass the budget and the governor's reform agenda. Speaker Madigan has reportedly told members of his caucus not to plan anything for this summer, because they still have a lot of work left to do. At the Capitol, Jordan Abadea, News Channel 20.
Tomorrow, our series continues as we catch up with lawmakers and party leaders on both sides of the aisle as they share their thoughts on divided government and how the role it plays at the State House.